All right, diving deep today. Elon Musk. Not just the memes and the tweets, though, right? We're going deeper than that.
Much deeper, the question is, how much of the future is this guy actually shaping?
Okay, so AI, space travel, even how our government works, like, those are the big things we're looking at, right?
Exactly, and it's the connections between them that are really interesting. Musk isn't just in these fields, he's at the point where they all start to influence each other.
So we got to lay it out. We're talking Tesla, obviously, SpaceX, Neuralink, even OpenAI, though. I guess he's not part of that anymore, right?
Right, but still relevant to the story. Can't forget X either, what Twitter's become, and then Starlink. It's a lot.
It is, and each one gives him a different kind of power, globally, right? Not just tech, but like the control over how it's used.
Precisely. Which brings us to AI. It's almost like Musk is playing both sides, warning everyone about the dangers, but then he's pouring money into it.
Yeah, like Tesla's self-driving stuff, those robot prototypes, even managing whole energy grid with AI. How does that compute with the whole AI is scary thing?
Well, it's more nuanced than that. Think of it as a difference between a narrow AI, which is good at specific tasks, versus general AI, which is more like the thinking machine we see in movies.
Okay, I'm with you. So Musk is maybe okay with narrow AI because it's useful, but it's that general AI, the unpredictable kind, that he's worried about.
Right. His split from OpenAI was kind of a signal there. Maybe he thought they were getting too commercial, not focused enough on the risks.
That makes sense, except then there's Neuralink, right? That's not narrow AI, that's brain-computer interfaces, straight out of science fiction.
And that's where the Musk is playing chess theory comes in. He's thinking way ahead. Neuralink could be about treating paralysis, boosting our brains, but also, yeah, it could be used to control it, even read our thoughts.
Okay, now my head is spinning a bit. So he's worried about AI, but also building the thing that could make the scariest AI possible.
He's anticipating it, maybe trying to guide it, control the outcome.
All right, well, speaking of control, SpaceX and Starlink, it's not just about getting to Mars, is it? This is about geopolitics now.
Absolutely. SpaceX launches for the Pentagon, NASA. It's controlling access to space, which is more and more important. But Starlink, that's the game changer.
In what way?
Imagine a network of satellites providing internet everywhere, regardless of what any country wants. That's power on a level most people don't even grasp.
Okay, and that ties into his politics, too, doesn't it? He used to lean Democrat, now it's all deregulation, hanging out with Trump, that sort of thing.
His goal space, AI, those do better under certain policies. And buying Twitter, becoming X, that gives him a huge platform to push those ideas.
It's risky, though, right? Alienates a lot of people. Is he underestimating that?
Depends on what his ultimate goal is. There are a few theories floating around.
Okay, hit me. What does Elon really want?
Well, one theory is he's a technocrat. Believes tech, especially AI, can solve all our problems, and he's the guy to lead that.
So not power hungry, just really, really sure he knows best.
Right. Another theory is the Martian escape plan. He says we need a backup planet. Maybe Mars is it?
Less about control, more about survival. Okay, I can see that. There was another one, though, wasn't there? The one that kind of freaks me out.
Ah, yes, the power player hypothesis. This is Musk wanting to be the most influential person ever, point blank. AI, space, politics, all tools to get there.
Okay, yeah, that one gives me chills.
But before we spiral, remember these are theories, not facts. We're exploring possibilities.
Good point. But even the article we read mentioned some wild stuff. Aliens, secret societies.
It's a rabbit hole for sure. We can dip a toe in, but gotta stay grounded.
Okay, agreed. So we've got Musk's companies, what they could do, maybe why he's doing it. Big question is this good for the rest of us or just him?
That's the core issue. But before we go further, here's a thought. What if we stop focusing on his intentions? What kind of world is he building, regardless?
Well, that's good. Getting philosophical now, are we?
Just a bit. Imagine Musk gets everything he wants. What does that world look like? Good, bad?
That's a huge question. Guess we'll have to dive into that next time.
Indeed. This deep dive's just getting started.
Okay, so last time we were talking about, like, the kind of world Elon's building, even if we don't know exactly why he's doing it.
Right. We did touch on some of those fringe theories, the alien stuff, the PayPal mafia.
Yeah, fun to think about, but probably not the most productive path right now.
Agreed. Let's stick with things that are a bit more grounded, but no less important. Like Neuralink. We talked about the medical potential, but man, some of that stuff is scary.
It's not just creepy, it's full-on Black Mirror territory, right? Like, you're not just talking about reading my mind, you're talking about recording my thoughts, my feelings, everything.
Imagine, like, being able to download your memories. Or someone else being able to access them without you knowing. It's not even about mind control. It's about information control on a whole new level.
Okay, yeah, no thanks. That's a future I want no part of. And this is why we're having these conversations, right? This tech is so powerful, we can't just be like, oh, cool, brain chips. We got to think about the downsides.
Exactly. And that's where the whole Musk is playing 4D chess thing breaks down a bit. Even if he has good intentions, can he actually control where this all leads?
Right. Which brings us to Starlink. We talked about global internet, which is huge on its own. But then there's the military side of it, right? Like, how does this change warfare?
Think real-time intelligence drone that can fly anywhere. Even cyber warfare launched from space. It's not just an advantage, it's a whole new way of fighting wars.
So Musk isn't just some tech CEO. He's basically like a defense contractor now. That's a big leap.
It blurs the lines, that's for sure. Should one company or one person have that kind of influence over global security?
And this is all connected to that bigger question, right? What's the end game here? Does Musk even believe in countries anymore?
It's possible he sees national borders as outdated. Think about it. SpaceX is operating outside of any one government's control. Starlink bypasses internet regulations. And Neuralink, that could change what it means to be human. If you're connected to this global network, do countries even matter anymore?
Whoa. Okay, hold on. I need to catch up. So no borders, tech running everything, people with like augmented brains. This is sounding less like reality and more like a movie.
It's radical, sure. But Musk has always been about pushing the limits. But there's a flip side to this, too. Even if he's brilliant, even if he's got all this ambition, can he actually pull it off?
Yeah, good point. Like Tesla's had its problems. SpaceX rockets have, not always gone to plan. And Neuralink keeps delaying their stuff.
He's not a god. There's tech challenges, governments pushing back, other companies competing. And people. What if people just reject his whole vision?
That's the thing, right? He can build all this crazy tech, but he can't control how people feel about it. What if we just decide, nope, not interested in living in Elon's world?
That's the human element, the wild card. So, yeah, it's amazing what he's doing, but is it sustainable?
Which brings us back to, like, what's actually motivating him? Is it all altruistic? Is it just ego? Does he want to be a hero, a villain, or something else entirely?
That's the million-dollar question. I don't know if there's an easy answer. I mean, maybe it's not about labeling him good or bad, but understanding the mix of things that drive him.
Yeah, like he clearly wants to solve problems, push humanity forward, but ambition and idealism, they can kind of look the same sometimes, can't they?
Exactly. And the real question for us might not be about him, but about us. What do we do with all this? What role do we play in this world he's building?
Ooh, that's good. So it's less about analyzing Musk and more about what do we do about all this?
Because the future isn't set in stone. It's being made right now by people like you, like me, making choices, taking action. We have to hold these powerful people accountable.
Okay, I'm liking this shift in focus. So less doom and gloom, more like empowered, right? It's not a done deal.
Right. And that, I think, is a perfect transition to the last part of our deep dive. Let's move from talking about Musk to talking about what do we do about all this? The ethical stuff, the practical stuff. How do we make sure tech serves us, not the other way around?
Yeah, let's get into that. This is where it gets real. Okay, so we've spent a lot of time now in Elon's world, right? His companies, what he wants to do, what it could all mean.
And it's mind-blowing stuff, no doubt. But now we got to kind of step back. What do we do with all this?
Yeah, good point. Like, it's easy to get caught up in the hype or the fear, depending on how you look at it. But it's on us to figure out what this means for, regular people.
Exactly. We can't just be spectators. This is the future we're talking about, and we have a say in it. But where do we even start?
That's the thing. Like, it's so big, so complex. Like, how do we even wrap our heads around all this, let alone actually do something?
Well, I think the first step is acknowledging how messy it all is. There's no easy answers, especially when you start talking about the ethics of all this. AI, for example, is a minefield.
Yeah, it's not just about, like, robots taking over. It's the stuff we don't even see coming. Jobs, privacy. I mean, what does it even mean to be human if your brain is hooked up to a computer?
That's the question, isn't it? And then there's the whole issue of control. Who gets to decide how this tech is used? Who benefits? Who loses out? We got to figure that out before it's too late.
Before it's just, like, baked into the system, right? And it's not just AI. Space exploration. Like, is it right to be spending billions on going to Mars when there's so much stuff wrong here on Earth?
It's a valid point. Some folks say, hey, we got to fix climate change, poverty, all that before we blast off to another planet. Others say space is our insurance policy, in case something really bad happens here.
So it's a balance, right? We got to take care of home, but also have a backup plan. Which I guess leads us to the whole politics thing. We've seen how someone like Musk can use his money, his platform to change the conversation, even affect elections.
It's scary, honestly. Like, should one person have that much power? Where's the line between free speech and, like, manipulating people?
Especially online, right? Social media is so powerful, and those algorithms, they can really mess with how we see the world.
They can. So the stakes are high, no doubt, which probably makes you think, what can I do about it? I'm not Elon Musk. I can't launch rockets or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm just one person. Does any of this even matter?
It absolutely matters. We got to remember the power of like collective action. Demand transparency from these companies, these politicians, support laws that protect us, that make sure tech is used ethically.
So, like, data privacy laws, campaign finance stuff, even regulations on how AI is developed, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And just as important, we got to talk about this stuff with our friends, our families, online. The more we understand, the more we push back, the better chance we have of getting this right.
Okay, that's actually kind of encouraging. It's not hopeless then.
Not at all. The future isn't some fixed thing. It's happening right now. And every choice we make, every action we take, it all adds up.
I like that. It's on us. We're not just along for the ride. We can actually, like, steer the car.
That's the goal, right? To use all this amazing technology to make things better, not worse, for everyone, not just a few people at the top.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So as we wrap up this deep dive into Elon Musk and, well, the future he seems to be building, what's the takeaway? What do we want folks to walk away with?
Be informed, be engaged, and don't lose hope. The problems are huge, but they're not unbeatable. If we think critically, if we work together, if we keep pushing for a better world, we can do this.
I love that. Don't lose hope. We needed that today. All right, folks, that's our deep dive. Keep thinking, keep questioning, and most importantly, keep shaping that future because it's not set in stone.
Not at all. It's ours to create.